Hello friends! I was on TV recently. On October 27th, I appeared in a segment on this TV program called Newsroom Tokyo, which is a news program on the channel NHK World. In this program, I was talking about my love of Johnny's idols and specifically the group Travis Japan. I wanted to spend this video talking about why I was on here, what happened, how this all came about, my general experience, and kind of like the meaning or like the importance of like this whole segment in general. What was the news segment about? This was a kind of like human and culture feel-good story at the end of a 40-minute news program. It was about 10 minutes and it was focusing on the Johnny's idol group Travis Japan. And so Travis Japan are a vocal and dance idol group from Japan. They are from the agency Johnny's, who are like the talent agency that promotes and like creates the biggest idol groups in Japan. So think like SMAP and Arashi, KAT-TUN, News, King and Prince, Heisei Jump, Snowman, Stones, all of those groups are all Johnny's groups, so they're like top idols. And so Travis Japan has been a Johnny's junior group, so they've been a trainee group for the past 10 years, and they recently made their worldwide major debut at the end of October. They have spent the majority of this year actually in LA versus their home in Japan, and they came over here to study English and dance and vocal training, all to kind of like level up their skills to get that chance for that worldwide debut, because when they came here there were no plans to debut. So since they've been here, they have participated in things like the World of Dance competition, which was a really big deal for them since they are a dance focused group. They won 4th place in the team division for the US, and then they won 9th place for the team division all over for the whole world. So you know, like, that's how good of dancers they are. And then also, you may have seen me yelling about this on Instagram or on Twitter, but they were on this most recent season of America's Got Talent. They got past the audition phase and they were in the semifinals, didn't do a super stellar job, if I were to be honest. I feel like their nerves really got to them. So they did not make it past the finals, but that's okay. We are still proud of them anyway. Everyone loved them on America's Got Talent. Like even Simon Cowell loved them. So good news for TJ. Finally, in October, on October 28th, they released their debut song. It's called Just a Dance. You can watch the music video on YouTube. I believe by the time this will be posted, they will be past 10 million views, which is amazing. You can stream their song, which is really rare for Johnny's groups. So like you can stream it on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. You can buy it on iTunes. So please do that and like watch TJ, please. This segment was featuring this group that has seen all of this success in the US as like a Japanese like pop idol group that isn't like very common here. This segment was all about Travis Japan and what they have been doing and their kind of like hopes and dreams. And then it also had a little bit of a feature segment with a fan who was me. I totally forgot to mention this, but you can watch this segment online on the NHK World site. There's a link in the description. Find all sorts of links in the description, but you can watch it on the website only until about the end of November. So it only lasts for about a month. So you can go and watch the segment and learn all about Travis Japan and then kind of see what my involvement contained. But why was I on TV? It's because of Travis Japan. So the way that this happened is that a producer reached out to me on Instagram. I actually missed the original message. It was sent the day before Travis Japan's debut was announced. So I got a message like the next day because I was freaking out about Travis Japan's debut on Instagram, and checked my inbox, and then I saw that this producer had contacted me about doing a segment on Travis Japan and they wanted a fan interview. And they found me on Instagram and thought that I would be a good fit for it. So I verified that it was real. I talked to the producer on the phone and they decided to include me in the segment. Apparently when they started planning this, they didn't know that Travis Japan was gonna debut, and then it was announced. So it was like really good timing on their part. Why did they pick me specifically? So I have a few theories on this. I didn't like ask them outright, like why me, but I can kind of guess from like what we talked about and stuff like that. So the first one is that I am very public about my love of Johnny's and Travis Japan and idol groups in general, and I don't hide my face away from like my fandom. There's a lot of fans that even if they would do post a lot on Instagram, they will not show their face. They might cover it with like an uchiwa or only show part of their face or just their hands. They don't really like attach like their personality to their fandom, and I do that. Like I attach my face to my fandom, so I feel like I come off a little more approachable online. While I'm not like discounting how much of a fan other people are, probably to a producer who is outside of kind of like the whole fandom thing, somebody who is very like public, has their face out there, and just appears to have it, who has like really shown that it is like part of their life, might seem a little more approachable than to somebody whose face never shows up on Instagram. So it's just the way I conduct myself online was really helpful. So I actually used to hide like my Johnny's fandom a lot. I would talk about it here and there, but didn't really talk about it like publicly. Like of course I have like my stan Twitter and all my stan friends and everything like that, where all of my unhinged nonsense goes on, but I didn't really talk about it like on main. But I saw, especially like in the manga spaces, I saw a lot of K-pop fans really kind of like including their like K-pop fandom in with like their online content or like on their Instagram that had to do with other stuff. So I thought, you know what, this is essentially the same thing. It's not, but you know, it's like being a fan of a boy group is the same thing. So why can't I be like out in the open with it? So I started posting about it more publicly. Also, I posted a lot about kind of the activities that me and like my local kind of Johnny's friend group have done. Posted on Instagram about several events that we did. So there was like the Record of Memories Arashi concert in March, so I posted about that. I posted about karaoke that my friends and I would go to, and like the private screening that my friends and I set up to watch a concert like in a movie theater, which was wild. So I posted about all of these things, so I feel like it really gave the impression that like Johnny's is very much part of my life. And of course I would talk about Travis Japan a lot also. So the second reason, I think the manga also helped. So one of the things that the producer talked to me about, she did talk to me about shoujo manga, and she kind of mentioned that I seemed like I was kind of in this like J-pop culture. So there's a lot of things about my personality and my hobbies that are surrounded around Japanese pop culture. So the shoujo manga really goes in line with the idols and stuff like that. So I think the manga aspect of like my public persona was really helpful in like having them like approach me and decide to go with me for this thing. The number 3 reason is probably just purely location. The producers were located in New York, and I live several hours away, but not too far away. I feel like just my location was beneficial to them traveling to do some sort of segment for this. How did it go? What happened? All of that. So like I said, a producer and a cameraman came to my house to film me in my room and all of my Johnny stuff that you see back here. They filmed my whole room, which is the room that you see like in my videos. It's my like home office slash guest room, and sometimes the room that I sleep in just because I want to. So it's kind of like my little creative area with all of the stuff that I like that doesn't have to encroach on the rest of my house. And actually, like when the producer and like the cameraman came into my room, they were like, oh my god, this is amazing, and they even called it like a paradise, which I feel like is really appropriate because I have spent a really long time like curating this room to like look nice. Right now it is dirty, but to like look nice and to like kind of be this like ultimate fandom space. So I really like that got across. Also, since they saw that I got together with my friends to do karaoke and stuff like that, they wanted to get some footage of me at karaoke with my friends. So I got a bunch of my local Johnny's friends. They're not all Travis Japan friends, like fans, but they're all general Johnny's fans. So they all came out. I think there was about 12 of us came out to karaoke, and we sang, we played games, and then they did an interview with like me and my friends also at karaoke about Travis Japan, about Johnny's, and that sort of thing. So this was like a super fun experience. I was definitely really nervous during the whole thing, but it was really cool. So from like the fan perspective, to like actually be able to express my feelings and to like kind of be like, this is gonna come off as like I'm like clout chasing or whatever, but I'm not. But to be kind of like a representative or like a voice for international like Johnny's fans, because we don't get that a lot. So just to like have the opportunity to talk about Johnny's and my fandom and show that like there are a bunch of us here was really cool. It was also like cool from like a TV perspective, because I have a degree in film and video, and I focus on documentary film, which is not completely like news, but it is sort of like news. And I also work in the television industry. I don't work in production, I work in other things, but to just kind of like see how like a segment like this might be created, or at least a portion of it, and see what they asked me and then what they actually used, was really fun and really interesting to me. This news program, if I didn't mention before, it aired on NHK World, which is part of the Japanese public broadcaster NHK, which you might be familiar with from like anime and stuff like that, kind of like the BBC of Japan. So NHK World is a free English language channel about Japanese culture, news, and language. So there's a bunch of different shows and all the content is in English. It's a free channel. You can like literally go online like to NHK World's website and like watch the live TV feed right now. The program that this was is called Newsroom Tokyo, and it's like your typical news show. So it was 40 minutes, and the first like 30 minutes of it are like world news. So you have like the low price of the yen, the war in Russia, or the war in Ukraine and stuff like that, like all doom and gloom. And at the end it's like J-pop boy band. The last 10 minutes of this program were dedicated to Travis Japan. And so the segment mostly focused on Travis Japan, which is what I wanted and what I was so happy for, because I knew like the focus of this was not me. This was about Travis Japan. And so it was a really cool all English interview, which was amazing. I was so proud of their English. They have made so much progress. But it was really about like what Travis Japan have been doing, what they're trying to do, and that sort of thing. And then it added like me as like, and my friends as like a little bit of filler to kind of get the fans' perspective of it. I am in no way disappointed or like upset with what was used from my interview or how much of my interview was used. I am perfectly fine with everything. But I did want to kind of like talk about some of the other stuff that we did talk about in the interview that wasn't included in the segment, just because I find that it was really interesting and I had a lot of insightful things to say. We spent maybe about an hour and a half filming at my house, and that included like shots of my room and also the interview portion with me. And then we spent about 2 hours at karaoke with my friends, and you know, we played some games, we like set everything up, and we sang songs in karaoke, and then they also did an interview with all of us. Karaoke gathering was like really impressive. Like, here's a picture. I made like a banner for Travis Japan's debut, like congratulations, and we played like a Johnny's song game, and we all brought all of our merch and like spread it across the table. This picture does not do it justice how much stuff we had, but we had acrylic stands and magazines and uchiwa and DVDs and stuff like that, and it was like so cool. Like when the interviewer came in and we were all like setting up, she was like, oh my god, this is like the real deal, you know, like we're like really big fans. And she said she was like really impressed by like our love and like dedication and like our fandom and stuff like that. So that was really nice and validating to hear. Like my comments on TV were like kind of like boiled down to like, I like cute boys, which is not wrong because I do like cute boys. But we did talk about a lot of other stuff, so I wanted to kind of expand on what we talked about and kind of like give you an idea of kind of the things that we all said. So this is all kind of like generalized, because I don't remember specific things that people said and stuff like that, but my friends, two of my friends were also featured in the thing. My friend Shane and my friend Mars, they both had like really good things to say. Shane had a lot of good stuff to say, so like that was really cool, and other people had a lot of good stuff to say too, but yeah, so I'm just gonna talk about what else we talked about. We did talk a lot about shoujo manga, what I like about shoujo manga, but I talk about shoujo manga all the time on this channel, so I don't need to tell you what I said about shoujo manga because you've probably heard it before. And then we also talked about like how I became a Johnny's fan, which is a long convoluted story, so that's a story for another time. And like how I became a fan of Travis Japan, like all of the basic kind of stuff. And then we also talked about why I love Johnny's, and we talked about this like in my individual interview and then also with my friends too. Part of this was used in the segment. There's some phrase like something like saying how Johnny's feels like Broadway or like Vegas or something like that, which is completely true. That's like the whole point of like the feel of Johnny's. But I talked a lot about how Johnny's isn't like anything else I've ever seen. I feel like Johnny's is so special just because of the entertainment aspect of it. Like there's their costumes, which like are so loud and different, and they are just like crazy is the only word I can think of, but they're like full of sparkles and feathers and really interesting silhouettes and stuff like that. So it's a fashion style all of it in and of itself. About the stage production of Johnny's, because you may have thought you've like seen like a really cool like over-the-top concert, but you have not until you've seen a Johnny's concert. Their concerts are like insane. They have done things where you wouldn't even think that's possible to do at a concert. Like it's crazy. You have not, like I 100% will stand by this phrase, but you have not seen a concert until you have seen a Johnny's concert. You really embody like what entertainment can and should be. They also talked a lot about the differences between like K-pop and J-pop idols, because K-pop is like the big thing right now, and so obviously J-pop idols are going to be compared because, you know, they are similar concept and also Asian, so they're gonna be compared. But so we talked a lot about like the differences. Most of what we said was kind of like K-pop and J-pop have very different vibes. They're both like valid forms of entertainment. And whatever you have a preference for is totally fine, and there shouldn't be like any sort of like infighting or whatever between the two. You just like what you like, and that's cool. But we talked about like the different vibes between K-pop idols and J-pop idols. So K-pop idols very much have this image of being really, really perfect. So once they step out onto that public stage, you know, they have perfect vocals or dance skills and stuff like that. And they're kind of like this total package, and they go through like really, really rigorous training in order to be kind of like these like perfect entertainers. Where on the flip side with Johnny's idols especially, they don't put so much emphasis on being perfect. So a lot of what Johnny's idols are, like their main focus is personality. So you hear a lot of stories, like audition stories from all like debuted idols, on how their audition went, and especially when Johnny-san was alive. If you did something weird or said something weird during a audition and Johnny-san laughed, you would probably pass your audition even if you couldn't dance that well. They put a lot of focus on like personality first, and then the rest of the stuff you can learn. They have a really public trainee program, so there are some times where the first time, like their first day at the agency, they are put onto a stage in Tokyo Dome and they are dancing behind like Arashi or something like that. So it's really kind of like a throw them into the pool and they'll learn to swim that way sort of method, which can be really endearing because with their really public trainee program, so you see them at concerts all of the time doing back dancing for debut groups, and you also can watch the show Shonen Club, which is a show specifically for juniors to be showcased. And now there is the Johnny's Junior channel, where they like established junior groups have like make videos and you can get to know them that way. So they have this really public training program where you can see these like trainees grow and learn and get bettered, and the lucky ones like get to debut. So there are some idols where you can watch them literally from their first day in the agency until they debut. So like with Travis Japan, for example, Noel, I used to watch him on Shonen Club before he was in Travis Japan, so this was 10, at least like more than 10 years ago. So he was one of the juniors that like I took notice of. I saw him when he was in those really beginning phases of his like journey to being an idol, and now I have watched him throughout the years kind of grow into an idol and into a performer and into a person. He's like a full-on adult now with like a college degree and everything. So and now he's like debuted with a song internationally and a music video that has 10 million views. Like, it's amazing. Just, you feel like really close to these. I often call Travis Japan my sons because they are younger than me. But I have like watched them for several years, and so I just feel this intense sort of like attachment and pride in watching their journey as they grow until they can like debut. Johnnies don't always have like the most perfect vocals or the most perfect dancing or whatever. They're all just like fun dudes, basically. This is not the best word, but they're really like, they seem more approachable, or like they could be like your cousin, or they could be just like a guy that's in your class who just happens to be like a top idol. Kind of have this boy next door feel to them rather than this kind of like perfect entertainer type of feel. So like K-pop and J-pop, they have their similarities. The K-pop trainee system is based off of Johnny's, but that is news for another day. Like, my friends and I, we always talked about how close Johnny's is. It's like once you fall in love with one group at the agency, you're gonna adopt like a junior group, and there's gonna be another one that you buy CDs for because you like their music, or like one of the guys is like really hot or something like that. I don't know, you really like him. So it just feels like a family. So with my friends at karaoke, we are all fans of different groups. Like, there's some overlap there, but everybody has their own favorite group, but we can all like have a good time and talk to each other and talk about the same things, because all of these idols and Johnny's like maybe they were juniors together, or they were in a show or something like that together. So it feels like a family, and it's all just interconnected, and it's just like super, super fun. Those are all friends with each other, and it's just really, really great. I also talked a lot about like what I love about Travis Japan, and I feel like this should have been included a little bit more, but it's fine. I talked a lot about how I really love their like hard work and dedication, about like how many challenges they've faced during their junior period, and like how they've seen like their friends and their peers or people who have joined the agency after them kind of debut before them, and then trying to figure out what it is that they need in order to be that group that's selected for debut. So just kind of seeing like their journey through that has been like really like inspiring. I really admire all of their hard work and dedication. Their dancing is also like top tier. Like, they focus so much on being in sync with each other, and especially like coming to the US, their level of dancing has skyrocketed. They were good before, but they are really good now. Another thing we talked about in the interview was being like how the pandemic affected Johnny's. So I did say the phrase, COVID is the best thing that's happened to Johnny's, which is bad, I know, but there's a little bit of truth to it. So just some brief background on Johnny's. Johnny's has been very adverse to the internet and social media. There's a long period of time, like I think it might have been up until like 2017, 2018, where they did not allow images of their talents online. So if you saw like a online news article about a drama and the main guy was like Matsumoto Jun from Arashi, the picture from the press release would be the whole cast except for the main guy. He would not be in the photo. Because of how strict they were. Or if you saw a listing for a magazine, if you've ever seen one with like a blacked out person on the front of the magazine on a listing online, that's a Johnny's idol. So like it wasn't until about like 2018 where they started to like embrace using photos of their talents online outside of their official websites. Also, that's when they finally started their YouTube channel, and then recently they have been adding more and more like Instagram profiles or Twitter accounts, and not every group has an Instagram or a Twitter or a YouTube channel. So like Johnny's is very much behind the times. So they've been very adverse to the internet. So we talked a lot about kind of that, and then also like what it means to be an international fan. So since Japan is the second biggest like music market in the world, they don't need outside like attention. Like they doing fine with just Japan. So I feel like they kind of like, it's hard for international fans to find stuff because their music isn't on streaming, and up until recently they didn't even have an Instagram account or a YouTube channel. So it's hard to get their music. Also, like joining the fan club, you have to have a Japanese address in order to join the fan club, and the only way you can get concert tickets is through the fan club. And so we talked about kind of how the pandemic has started changing that, because they couldn't hold in-person concerts anymore. So they started live streaming the concerts. And so with a live stream, anyone in the world could watch it. And you didn't have to be in the fan club to watch the live stream. You had to pay a little bit more for a ticket to this live stream, but you could still watch it without a fan club membership. This wasn't my first Johnny's concert, but it was my first news concert, who is like my main group. So I got to see a live concert from them. It was live streamed, but it was happening at the same time. And I was on Twitter with all my friends, so it really felt like it was a really good atmosphere, and it was really, really fun to do that. So being able to experience those types of things as an international fan, which was really, really cool. There's also you could buy like concert merch too, because they had all these concert goods that they couldn't sell in person. So they opened up online stores, and so you could buy the concert merch. You didn't have to rely on like somebody taking orders who was going to the concert. You could go and get them yourself. But the roadblock with that is that they only shipped to Japan, so if you're outside of Japan you have to use like a proxy address. So we're not quite there yet. But we kind of talked about like how all of these changes kind of made like international fans feel like we were actually part of like the larger Johnny's fandom, and like how much fun that was to like feel like we were being included. And we also talked about like Johnny's fans and how like close all the fans are, and like the international fans, and how we find each other and the communities that we make, and like how do you understand them if you don't have Japanese skills? Well, there are fans that are nice enough to translate stuff. Johnny's doesn't release English subtitles with their YouTube videos, so if you see English subtitles on a Johnny's video, a fan has taken time out of their day to do that. And so we talked about how we find each other and our communities and stuff like that, which was really cool. So that's mostly what we talked about. So you can see that was a lot for a 10-minute segment that mostly focuses on the group, like on Travis Japan. So you can see why they kind of just like took the highlights out of there. Why was like this all important? So of course this segment was about Travis Japan, and that is the most important part for them to get exposure. I am just here as a vessel to speak unto the world the greatness that is Travis Japan. I am just really glad to have had the chance to like voice my enthusiasm and be like a representative of the international like Johnny's and Travis Japan fandom. Kind of show that there are fans outside of Japan that have just as much love and support the artists just as much as fans that are in Japan. I'm not saying anyone is better than anyone else. It's just, I was just the vessel in which the love was communicated. I was just happy to be a tiny piece of like this celebration of Travis Japan's debut. I really don't see this as a thing for me. I see it as a thing for fans, like non-Japanese fans or non-Japan-based fans in general. It's really, really fun to talk about Johnny's in this sort of like official way. I've been a Johnny's fan for, I don't know, 15 years, more than that, 16 years. 2006 was when I started being a Johnny's fan. So it's been a really long time, so I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of opinions and a lot of experience in this. So I'm really glad that I was able to like talk to somebody about it. just in general, I really love Johnny's. Like this past year with Travis Japan being in the US and all the Adachi stuff that was happening in the past few years before their hiatus was really, really fun. And this year I joined like a Discord server for our local group, and that has been really fun. I've made some really, really great friends through all of this. So yeah, like I love this fandom so much. I am just really, really excited for the future of Travis Japan. I feel like they're gonna do great things and I cannot wait. Their first music video is so good. Their first song was so good. So just seeing, like, I just can't wait for their future. I'm so proud of them. As international fans, we really don't want a lot. I mean, English subtitles would be nice. Streaming music for like all artists would be really, really great. It'd be cool if I could go to a concert that wasn't in Japan, especially for Travis Japan. I know they're having a few performances outside of Japan. They have one in Singapore and one in Hong Kong planned right now. But hopefully they can come to the US, at least New York, maybe Vegas, maybe California, but I know I will be there. So yeah, I guess I just want to say thank you to NHK World and like the people that I was talking to there to give me this opportunity to talk about like my love of Travis Japan and for Johnny's, and to my local friends who like it was like the Avengers assembled to come to karaoke. So thank you for coming and supporting me and dealing with like all my anxiety related to this. You guys really made everything amazing. To all and thank you to all of the like Japanese and international Travis Japan fans who like received me so warmly. I got some really nice messages on Twitter, so thank you for that. I am happy. I am like happy that I was able to try to express everybody's love through my short words. Of course, thank you to Travis Japan for like being such an awesome group and never giving up and giving us like this high quality debut that you have. I am very, very excited for your future. So if you have made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. In the comments, leave a tiger emoji for Travis Japan. And don't forget to watch the Just Dance music video. It's linked in the description. There's also a playlist of a bunch of Japanese, like Travis Japan videos. They're all English subtitles. Thank you to the fans who have subtitled those for us. It's super, super fun. They're amazing. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, I mostly talk about manga and anime and that sort of stuff. You can subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of me. That's all I've got for you guys today. I'm Christy Lou. Till next time, matane!